Yeah. Do you care if I record this conversation real quick?
Man, I don't care. I love Hillary so much.
Okay. Just do me a favor, though.
I want the world to know.
I'm not going to say your name because I don't want anybody coming looking for you if you happen to say anything crazy. So go ahead, feel free to express yourself because I understand that people, like, I know you don't love Hillary. I know you like Hillary because you dislike Donald Trump.
That's really it. Nobody likes Hillary. Hillary's kind of like that one, slice of pizza that's too skinny that nobody really wants. It's the last one to get picked out of the box. But when it comes down to it, you need that slice of pizza.
No,
that's better than starving.
People love Hillary Clinton. You can't make a joke about her right now. You can't talk about any of the criminal acts that she's done or the harmful votes that she's had or the flip-flopping that she's done without people scoffing at you, writing at the end of their posts, and if you don't agree, then don't say anything, because they're just in love with Hillary Clinton and the fact that she's a woman. A lot of women are in love with that fact, and just a lot of people in general. I have a daughter, glass ceiling broken. That made me happy. That's a great thing. Is my daughter being a mixed child, Obama being a mixed president. I know everybody loves calling him black, but that's something she could achieve. I get all that, but this woman isn't that much better than Donald Trump. Like, what is your problem with Donald Trump? What do you think Donald Trump's going to do to mess with you?
Oh, man, where do I start? First off, he's a racist, and he doesn't like anybody that isn't white or orange or Scandinavian or whatever race his wife is this year.
Yeah. So, Hillary Clinton's speech last night, did you like her speech? Okay, so exactly. So
could have been better.
One of my favorite things is that she said is one of her she had like three things that sounded humanized when she tried to say, "This is the Donald Trump. There is no other Donald Trump." So was Donald Trump a racist, bigot, woman hating, whatever when you went to his wedding? Was he all these evil things when your husband was playing golf with him, round after round, game after game, time after time? When you went to dinners with him, when you took pictures with him, when you took checks from him, when you did favors for him, when did he become the bigot that you couldn't stand to be with, be seen with, be associated with, or whatever? When did it happen? Did it happen 18 months ago when he started running for president? Because again, so you think he's a racist bigot? She said last night this has always been him. Then what? We hang out together, right? You're not a racist. I'm not a racist. If I was a racist, would you be my friend? If I told you I hated Latino people and I hated Mexicans and I wish they all went to the moon or drowned in the ocean, would you be talking to me right now?
Probably not.
Exactly. So which Donald is it that she says there's only one Donald Trump? Who hangs out with a man that's like that if she's of such high moral caliber? Right?
She has to. It's like Jesus. Jesus had to break bread with the prostitutes and the drug dealers of the time.
No, you don't. Because if you're above that, you don't do that. I'm not having dinner with the Klan. I'm not going to somebody that's in the Klan's wedding and at a Klan wedding. I'm not doing it. And
Donald Trump will retweet members of the Klan.
Okay. So again, that's just strategic marketing crap, right? Okay, so normally when he retweets those things, generally those statements that he actually retweets are either one, good sound bites, or good positive statements towards something. Now, once you twist that and convolute that with, well, white supremacists said it. Sometimes not for nothing, just because a white supremacist said it does not make it not factual. Now again, I'm Captain Pro-Black. I hate even defending this man. He's an idiot. He is an idiot. But the fact that people on the Hillary side can't see what's wrong with her or what she needs to do to win is the problem. When I point out her flaws, in my mind, I almost hope, well, maybe she gets her shit together and actually does have a change of heart and a change of mindset and platitude, that she could win and be deserving of my vote, which she's not getting, which he's not getting. I'm doing third party, which means I'm throwing my vote away for Donald Trump, and you can't do that, and that's outrageous. Well, that's democracy. And unfortunately, what we keep breaking down other barriers in the world for is what we need to have. It's my choice to do what I want to do. So, again, what's the difference? He retweets white supremacists. Again, You're giving them all the media attention for it. It's her night. She broke the glass ceiling, and CNN and MSNBC and, of course, Fox are reading his tweets. Why? It's not his night. It doesn't matter what he's saying. You know he ain't saying nothing positive, but you're giving him airtime. You're giving him voice. And on every other third occasion, he actually says something that makes sense. So, what's the point? He retweeted white supremacists. Okay.
Right, and you're saying, see, with one hand you say he's an idiot, but on the other hand, he's retweeting a white supremacist. That's a good marketing move on his side.
Okay.
I think he's more intelligent than anybody gives him credit for, and that he's like he's gonna drive this country down, and he's gonna walk away with a huge profit.
That's
just like Cheney, just like everybody else.
Exactly, just like everybody else. Vis-a-vis the Clinton Foundation, making billions of dollars. Let me get back to what I just said about him being an idiot versus being smart in marketing. He is a TV personality. He is a builder of businesses that crumble, and he still walks away with a check. So, yes, the man is educated and smart about something. You can say he's a good scam artist, a good con artist, but he's good with something because he has success in his life. He's an idiot to where sometimes he pushes it too far, and when he has to reel it in and double back on it, it doesn't play out well for him. You know, his whole... Russia needs to check out the emails and this and that, okay? Now, he shouldn't have said that. But at the same time, he said it in a way that's a joke. And I know people want to take it serious. You think he was serious when he said that?
I think that he believes what he says the moment he says it, but maybe not 5 minutes later. He changes what he thinks so many times.
When you play it and just watch it, people can't watch without hating their eyes. He says, Russia should look into those deleted emails on that deleted server. He's making a comment about something that doesn't exist. He's saying hack into something that's not possible to be hacked. He's making that statement knowing that they can't do anything about it. Now, mind you, officially, as of right now, no one has definitively said 100% that it was Russia. They use words as in, Central Intelligence thinks, the press says, we believe. Not they did it. Even the FBI puts out things and paraphrases it in ways that leaves them an out in case it was Korea or something like that. You know what I mean? So... the fact that the DNC got hacked by allegedly Russia, even if it was Russia, we hack countries all the time. We're always hacking countries. So for him to say that, we're doing it right now. They're doing it to us. We're doing it to them. That's why Snowden is hiding off in a thing wherever he got captured, I guess. But because he said, hey, the government's spying on you. You think they just spying on us? They spy on everybody. It's what the global governments do.
All right,
So
hold on. You can't believe that Trump would actually be a better option than Hillary. Because, I mean, with Hillary, it's the devil you know. With Trump, it's the devil you don't know, and that's what's scary.
I don't know what Hillary this is. Is this the Hillary that said gays can't be married? Okay, before I start saying, I'm going to start saying some stuff about old Hillary versus new Hillary, and people are going to say, oh, and don't judge her, she evolved. But they'll play a fucking clip from Donald Trump in 1988 when he called Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig. You can't have it fucking both ways. This is my point about how just insane both sides are. I mean, I yell at Trump people all the time too, because they do the exact opposite thing. They're putting up these memes about Michelle Obama that aren't true, about a bill that isn't true. I mean, there's enough true stuff on each side. You can stick to the facts and not make up shit. So again, I'm going to talk about some old stuff with Hillary. She doesn't believe gays should be married. And when does she believe they should be married? When the Supreme Court overturns it and makes it law. And she's like, oh, yes, I've always believed. Now, if she said I had a change of heart in my mind and in a time frame and I learned, that'd be different. But she said I always did. And she's caught on tape saying that she always did and then not refuting it. She tells me she landed under sniper fire. What was that reporter's name that got fired for lying about whatever happened to him in the military event?
Oh, I don't remember.
He's back on TV now. He's on MSNBC.
It's not Brokaw, was it? No.
Anyway, everyone, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So He lost his job and credibility as a journalist because he lied about that. This is a politician telling the world that she landed under sniper fire and evasive maneuvers, had to duck and fire and all this kind of stuff. Then the video comes out and she's out there shaking hands with kids. Sinbad said it didn't happen. And then she said she misspoke. How do you misspeak saying the same story at 7 different major press events? How does your husband have to come out and try to clean it up for you and say, oh, the media is on her for saying it one time? She said it at 7 different events. And she did it at things where she was raising money, trying to bolster up her, I'm a survivor, I've been in war situations. It's just a lie. She just lies. I mean, last night, listener talking about, oh, she was first responders. They had 2 first responders talking. They talked about all this 9/11 stuff because all she does is 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11. And how we helped the first responders and we got them funding. Then why is Jon Stewart out here in his retirement leading this campaign to keep funding for the first responders? If she did such a good job, why do they still need money and why are they getting unfunded? And why isn't she speaking up to that matter? When she's got the whole world watching, why doesn't she say, I fought for 9/11 first responders to get assistance and they need assistance now and the Republicans aren't putting through the bill. Why don't we help them like I helped them? Why doesn't she say that? Because she doesn't give a shit. She wants to use her talking points. Okay? That's why. I mean, there's so many things. You just go list after list of factual things that she does and lies about. Oh, she's a civil rights. She started out in civil rights and she worked hard with civil rights. Did you see all that? Did you see the civil rights?
Yeah. I mean, wasn't her husband the first black president?
Yeah, the first black president. She was out there campaigning, going door to door, undercover thing. Okay, so which part of civil rights matters if you're on the wrong side of civil rights? She was a Goldwater girl. Do you know who Goldwater is?
Yeah, he's the lawyer.
Yeah.
Way back in the day that fought segregation or against segregation and all that, or for segregation.
Oh, was it for or against segregation? Was he fighting for?
Here's the thing: you never know with those politicians. But didn't she change her mind right after that?
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. But didn't she get her start working for him? And isn't she on tape in an interview saying, I love being a Goldwater girl? And hasn't she said throughout her career that she owes a lot to him for giving her shot and all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Youth impression. She was a Goldwater girl. So you want to tell me she was civil rights? I'm saying you play both sides of civil rights. Okay. And then tell me about, how... you're worried about, I'm supposed to be worried about Donald Trump not liking blacks and Muslims and Mexicans and Latinos. I got a lot of black friends that aren't voting for either one of them. I got a lot of Latino friends that are voting for Donald Trump. And I'm like, why? And they're like, we don't like illegal immigrants either. We want to have some kind of standard put. We don't like that pressure being put on us. We don't like being looked at in that way. And Muslims are saying, we feel just as violated by Democrats as we do as Republicans, because the ones that are already here have the same pressures. The things that Donald Trump is saying, he very specifically puts it on new Muslims coming into this country. And, he said some bad things about that. That's something I can't defend him on because he's made mistake after mistake with his verbiage on that. But at the end of the day, I just don't believe he's going to do that stuff. I believe he's pandering to a base to get his votes, just like Hillary Clinton's pandering to a base to get her votes. I mean, where did I have it? I saw the thing. I was watching her speech again today, and she said our economy isn't working the way it should because our democracy isn't working the way it should. Well, which one is it? Obama's done a great job with our economy and the freedoms that we have, or our democracy shit and our economy sucks.
Well, I mean, you can't place all the blame on the president for all that because isn't it Congress that's been blocking Obama at every inch of the way?
You could if you didn't give him all the credit for all the things that are positive. You give him all the credit in the world for Affordable Health Care Act. You give him all the credit in the world for LGBT, open love, and all that kind of stuff. So I got to give him all the blame for listening to Hillary Clinton, starting a war in Libya, listening to Hillary Clinton, starting a war in Syria. I mean, people keep acting like Donald Trump's going to start World War III. This woman has already started 2 wars on her own by her advice. to the president. And then they went and messed it all up. You know, I mean, he's talking about not letting Muslims in. How many Muslims are being bombed by drones by this president at the suggestion of Hillary Clinton? Didn't they just bomb and kill 73 people by mistake? A couple of months ago, didn't they blow up 200 people by mistake? And now, granted, terrorists kill people all the time, but we're supposed to be better than them. And how many more terrorists do we make blowing up these places and trying to overthrow dictators? At least George Bush did it because the dude tried to kill his daddy.
Yeah, but aren't these actions that we're taking preventing a much larger problem from happening?
No. Those are their problems. When we went into Libya and we go into Syria, now, is it horrible that they're killing people? Let's say they're committing genocide and they're killing thousands of their people. That's their responsibility where they live. The people need to revolt and fight back and do all that kind of stuff. We can't send guns and weapons to a rebel group and then get mad when that rebel group doesn't do what we want to do and they turn into ISIS and they're riding around in brand new Tundras. Because we got involved in something that didn't involve us. We don't go to Africa saving people like that from genocide and cutting small boys' hands off and giving 5-year-olds AK-47s. Because that's not going on in the Congo where all the gold and the diamonds and oil is. That's going on in the bush where people don't really care. And it's just, it's hypocrisy. It's a joke. And she has a lot of blood on her hands where Donald Trump does not have blood on his hands yet. So when you say the evils you know, I do know the evil of Hillary Clinton. You know, she's pro-woman. She's pro-gays and lesbians. I can't believe that. Her foundation has taken money from Saudi dictators and princes, people that cane women that have been raped in the street, 170 lashes. They usually die around 40 or 60. If you're killed if you're gay. Like, she's taken hundreds of millions of dollars from these people. And those dictators are okay, though. And she's pro-woman. And she's pro-LGBT. So is it just American women that she's pro for? Is it just American gays and lesbians that she's now pro for? Like, I just don't know. I heard Donald Trump say at a national debate that Planned Parenthood does a lot of good things for women and we need to protect women's rights. And everybody was like, what? You can't say that. This is a Republican debate. But he said it. He also says no more wars. He says no more spending these wars. Like I said, I hate defending this man because I don't know that he's that much better than her. But I feel like I don't know. Like I said, I can't even do it. I'm not voting for neither one of these fools. But Hillary Clinton just has so many strikes against her. And I could tell you super easy how she could even fix it, but she won't. She won't. So I don't know if she's going to win.
All right. So honestly, if you look at these two candidates, you look at Trump, you look at Clinton, which one's going to be better for preventing more black lives from being lost at the hands of police?
She had a lot of Black Lives Matter women out there and didn't have that many cops, which made people mad. And the RNC was the exact opposite with a lot of police love. And, you know, that's like a baited question because you know how I feel about that. I would obviously want to say Hillary Clinton, but at the same time, I feel like that's pandering because her and her husband are part of the reason why black people are looked at the way they are. Now, granted, there was a lot of drugs and crime in the 90s, but they passed a bill that specifically targeted brown and black people. And white people did not get the same sentences, even though they had a class Schedule 1 drug. Like, how come you can get more years in jail over marijuana than cocaine? Why? Because white people were using cocaine. And I don't believe her. I don't believe her. Oh, everything she says sounds good, but that's just like everything Obama said sounded good. And he ended up being Bush light. He started 2 more wars, kept the other wars going, never closed Guantanamo Bay, etc., etc., etc. So he couldn't do nothing for... as a matter of fact, a black president couldn't do nothing for blacks. How am I supposed to expect her to do something? So I don't know. I don't even... not to put you out there, but you have a love and affiliation with Latinos. Obama's out here done deported double more Latinos than anybody ever has. And she is billing herself as the third arm of Obama.
Yeah, and Trump is advocating for taking anchor babies out, which means that even if you're born here, you don't get to live here anymore. Some reporter confronted him on that and said that actually goes against the Constitution. And Donald Trump says, nah, the Constitution's open for interpretation. I don't believe that if you're born here, you get to stay. I think you still have to go through the proper channels.
Well, that's one of the bad things about Donald Trump. I can't defend that statement. I can't defend that statement at all. But I will say that Hillary Clinton also wanted to build a wall. She called it a barrier or some sort of wall. And she believed that all the way up until April or May of 2015 when Donald came out and said, we're going to build the greatest wall of all walls. And then she slowly, Mr. Burns, creeped away from that into the night and never brought it up again. And now she's anti-wall or barrier, even though she voted for a wall.
I gotta say this for the Democratic Party. They did a great social experiment this week. They put up a wall around the DNC and Republicans hopped right over it, which proves to them that walls don't matter. Walls don't work.
Well, you can get arrested for jumping that wall. I mean, you can come into America, no problem. Like, it's kind of like that was bizarre too. The RNC didn't have a gated barrier fence up around the outside of the area, and they were in a city with open carrying. Guys were out there with AK-47, AR-15s and all that kind of stuff, and guns. And they didn't have like a wall fence thing put up. What does that tell you? How does that make you feel?
That tells me the people with guns are on their side. I mean, if you're walking around with an AK-47, you're not voting Democrat.
But I mean, if it's your convention, you're just open to everybody. There was tons of protesters out there at the RNC, the women that went out there with the mirrors and they were naked and all that stuff. You know what I mean? They could have had a fence up there to keep them out, but they didn't.
I wouldn't keep a bunch of naked women out.
I'm not trying to keep a bunch of naked women out either. I'm saying that they had protesters. They had Black Lives Matter protesters out there. They had a lot of protesters out there for many a different thing. They have Republicans were protesting against Republicans out there, which even that, they booed Hillary Clinton all throughout this convention. I think the only people that didn't get booed, didn't get booed, was Michelle Obama and Joe Biden. Definitely Michelle and Joe Biden, because Joe Biden was hyped. Nobody had no time to boo him. He was hyped. He was on cocaine. He was on cocaine. He was on that Schedule 1 cocaine. And the president. But everybody else, when they said her name, when they said I'm with her, they booed. And people are so upset with these burn your bus people. And I'm like, you sound like Trump people. Trump people, okay. In my mind, I'm an independent, but in my mind, Democrats were right now just the educated tree monkeys, and Republicans were like gutter feeder, wanting money, grubbers down here. But Donald Trump is like in the mud, alligator style, rolling around. And up here were these tree monkeys that were Democrats that were smart, educated, and they were like, oh, we're so much better than Donald Trump and we can live above it. And Donald Trump's like, crooked Hillary, little hands Bill, and Uncle Phil. And so nobody was listening to this educated talk, and everybody was retweeting all this alligator talk. And so the monkey comes down and gets in the mud with the alligator, and the alligator's like, well, can you see in muddy waters? Because I can. And now they're getting torn apart. All these Democrats sound like children. They're yelling at burn your bus people instead of trying to convert them with facts and realizations and promises that could possibly be true. The fact that she stood on that stage and said she agrees with everything Bernie Sanders stands for and she's going to do it is a fucking red flag. She stood there for a year and said, he can't pay for it. It's not realistic. And everybody said, well, she's realistic because he can't pay for it and our debt's too strong. We can't do it. And now all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe that she's for free education, that she's for taxing Wall Street when she said that we can't do that for a year. Like, which one is it? Is she going to do everything Bernie said, or is she going to do none of it? Because I think she's going to do none of it. Oh, she was for wage increasements. She was in for $10, not for the 15. But when New York passed the 15, just like gay rights, she showed up, put her arm in the air, and said, "Yes, we can." Try and take credit. Bernie Sanders looked at her with evil eyes when she brought up his name. You see that?
Yeah.
I mean, he always kind of looks grumpy.
Yeah, it was, almost midnight past his nap time, I'm sure.
Hey, well, he didn't fall asleep like Bill did during her speech. Anyway, he was angry. He don't believe it. It looked like he didn't believe a word she said. So I don't know. People don't believe it. I mean, people were chanting "No more war" during her speech, and they kept chanting them down. What's so bad about no more war? Oh, well, she's takes money from oil. She's got deals with Middle Easterns, and we got to keep war going for money and for funding. And she suggested war, so yeah, she's for more war. So yeah, shout that down when they yelled "No more war," Hillary. She should have said, "Yes, you're right, no more wars." She could have got some votes that way, but she didn't. And like I said, the California delegation left. There were seat fillers. I was hearing. My one friend said the house was packed when there were people speaking. I asked how was the house packed when Hillary was there, because I saw a video that looked like the seats were not full, and then I heard a report where they had seat fillers come in, and then they had banished the Bernie people up into the rafters and get them off the floor. And bro, Donald Trump didn't even get booed like that. They had their argument squabbly thing at the beginning when they had the roll call, but after that, they didn't boo every time they said the man's name. Doesn't that scare you if you think she needs to win?
Yeah, a little bit.
How can she be down in the polls when every single news outlet except for Fox is on her side? MSNBC, CNN, ABC. All of them.
Now hold on, MSNBC is on her side.
Yeah, Rachel Maddow and them.
Yeah, I thought they were so pro Bernie. I thought they weren't going to be able to come back.
No. They were pro Bernie-esque. They were still pro Hillary. Their whole thing was Hillary needs to be more human and stop having scandals. But they were definitely pro Hillary. And even to this point, they were like, they interviewed 3 Bernie people after the second night. After second night, they interviewed 3 people, asked them if they were still Bernie supporters, and each 3 of them were like, "Yes, Michelle's speech was really great, but we're still Bernie or bust." And they went to another one, still Bernie or bust. Went to another, and they finally just gave up. They're like, "Well, these people are disillusioned. I think it's only 10% of the Bernie voters and delegates are going to be like this." 10%? You just went 3 for 3 and you gave up. Like, those delegates aren't changing their mind. They booed Bernie when he tried to stick up for Hillary Clinton. And she deserves it. She hasn't been convicted of any crimes. She still got all these scandals involved with her name. She's still doing all this sneaky stuff. She deleted her email. She emailed people when she ain't supposed to. She got hacked in her own personal computer. The DNC gets hacked. And not only does the DNC gets hacked, fraudulent stuff is afoot, money laundering, money for favors, all kinds of stuff. The people keep saying there's not a lot of big deal stuff in those emails. Yes, there is. Follow the money. But most importantly, there was fraud afoot. The DNC wasn't running right. People were disenfranchising their vote, regardless of what you say, bottom line. And then they fired Debbie Schwesserfisch. And 2 hours later, she hires that woman to be co-chair of her campaign. Like, does she have no regard for anything that anybody feels or thinks? She's literally like, go fuck yourself. I'm Hillary Clinton and I'm above the law. I'm above whatever you think. Even though this woman is seen, caught, and Bernie people have been saying it for months that the DNC was railroading Bernie Sanders. Oh, no, that's ridiculous. This is above reproach. This is the DNC. We're not the RNC. This is the DNC. And what happened? They've been rigging it the whole time. And this woman gets a job as a co-chair for Hillary Clinton within 2 hours. But I'm supposed to believe that she's all for Bernie's plight and care. I'm supposed to believe when she goes to India and does a conference and says that people can't get back jobs. We can't force people to bring jobs back into America. We can't force them to stop exporting jobs. And then comes back here and says she's going to put an executive order in to bring 10 million jobs back. How you going to do that when you promised them you wouldn't? Which one is it? Who am I supposed to believe? Even if Donald Trump is exactly who he says he is, at least I think that he might be exactly who he says he is. So I know what I'm dealing with. With Hillary Clinton, I don't know what the fuck is going on. And like I said, if she didn't hire that Debbie chick, she could even give her a job on the back end once she became president or something. But you hire her that day, you have no care about corruption or what the people think or what the people need. They need to see you being above reproach. Donald Trump doesn't show his taxes. Now, I don't think he's a billionaire like he says he is. I don't think he's half as rich as what he says he is. But he's not releasing his taxes. Show me your Goldman Sachs speeches, Hillary. Which one's going to be more damning? The fact that he's only worth $900 million, or that she said, hey, I'm going to put more money in your pockets. We're going to screw the little man as much as we can without getting a problem. Like, which one is it? I don't know what to do, bro. I'm not voting for either one of them. But Hillary Clinton, when you say, I got to vote for the lesser of two evils, evil is still evil.
You got to look at a bigger picture, I think. Like, look, Anna Kasparin from the Young Turks, she had a really good quote this past week. She said, if you have a conservative Congress, a conservative Supreme Court, and a conservative president, it does very little for progressive causes. And whoever you vote for or don't vote for, whoever gets elected, is going to have control of the Supreme Court because they're going to have maybe 4 justices that they'll appoint in the first 4 years of their presidency. And the Congress will more than likely, because so many of them are up for re-election and so many citizens are fed up, are going to reflect the values of the person that gets elected president. If more Democrats vote, we'll have a Democratic Congress, a Democratic president, Democratic Supreme Court. More Republicans vote, we're going to have the opposite. So, I mean, what do you really want? Do you want a democratic world, or do you want a republic world?
First of all, this is a republic. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. So technically, we are a republic. Secondly, that is the best statement that you made or that anybody could make is about the justices, about the judges. That's the only thing where I'll say, I guess I need Hillary in there for blah, 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 blah. But convincing me and convincing all those people that just know her to be a liar and a snake and a cheat and that she's more Republican than half the Republicans, there's a reason why Republicans love her. Because she's a Republican. So again, do I trust her? I don't. Do I trust her when she says, I'm going to overthrow Citizens United? I don't. I don't believe that she's going to put in justices that are so progressive that they would say, let's get money out of politics. Which means I don't know how progressive they're going to be for my rights and my needs in the future. And hasn't it been bad in the past or whatever? I mean, like, it hasn't done anything for me. I don't feel the difference whether, I mean, I guess I should think about my daughter and maybe women's rights. That might be a thing to worry about for women. But for me, being a minority, I don't really see it mattering to me. But that is the best case cause you've made a statement to, and that's something I'll have to think about, I guess. Because I can't really argue with that statement at all. Like I said, I can sit here and bash Donald all I wanted to, but they do that all the time for me. And if they did it in a more mature adult way, they might be able to sway voters. But yelling at Bernie people and yelling at people that are voting for Trump just makes them quiet, and they sit there and they lay in the cut. And they're not going to argue with you. You're calling them stupid and fucking retarded and pieces of shit and world enders. They're not going to engage with you on Facebook or read your articles or call you on the phone or have a conversation with you. I mean, again, they're not all racist. I was over my friend's house swimming, and I had the kids over there. I've known them for 15 years, and he is fully voting for Trump because he cannot trust and or stand Hillary Clinton. He doesn't have a racist bone in his body. He has no problems with Muslims. He has no problems with Latinos. He has no problems with anybody. But he does have a problem with corruption. So until she fixes that view of her, I don't think she could beat Donald Trump. And people say whatever they want. He beat 15 people to get to where he's at. 6 governors, 2 Latinos, 2 women, a black guy, and whatever the fuck Chris Christie is, some fucking hippo dinosaur whale piece of shit that he is. And me being fat, I could say that about him. But people keep underestimating this dude. And I know I called him an idiot, but my golly, he is rocking it as far as this is concerned. And the RNC was against him. The party was against him. And he still did it. Jeb Bush blew $150 million and couldn't get out of single digits half the time. It's scary, bro. And another thing too that people love about him from Bernie camp is that he's not taking that corporate money yet. He's going to take Koch brother money because Pence is a Koch brother dude. But Hillary owes all this money, all these people. It's just too much stuff for her, man. It's too much. If she wants my vote, she's got to like send back all that Goldman Sachs money and all that kind of stuff. She's got to send all that money back. She got to send it all back. Now she's the president. She doesn't need the money for her ass bots. If she told me she sent back all that money, then maybe I'd be okay to listen. Maybe. But that Supreme Court justice thing is something I have to think about. Other than that, fuck them both. I'm feeling the Johnson. All right. I'll talk to you later. Now I'm all semi-depressed and annoyed. So, don't vote for nobody.